in the freezer or in the fridge. Just don't do it. Just warm your body up, give your body some warmth, and you'll be able to have a poop without having such pain. It takes time. It's not going to be like you usually. It's not going to be like you have one glass of tea and you're fine. It's something that you have to take care of yourself and nourish over time. If there's a little bit of pain, we call that liver qi stagnation. And liver qi stagnation is usually from, let's say, times of irritability or anger or frustration. It can also be times where you're having to have a lot of courage or you're having to make a lot of decisions. So the types of things that can help that is to work on that anger, that irritability, meditation, that sort of thing. But also to go ahead and take the courage to do what it is that you need to do. There's something that's holding you back. If there's something that's holding you back, try to grab that courage and move forward with it so you're not stuck. And if you're making a lot of decisions, if you're the decision maker in the family, maybe dole that out to other people so that you're not having to do it all the time, because that will stagnate your chi, stagnate your energy in your gut. So that's what that usually is. And the stagnation could be in the cold. They can be these rabbit pellet poops. Or you could have some loose stool as well. Now, if you are pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing and nothing is coming out, and you think, man, I know there's something in there that can't come out, we think of that also as a digestive deficiency. Like you're so deficient that you can't even get the poop out of your butt. You're just so deficient. And when you think of deficiency, think of nourishment from your food. Are you getting good food? And if you are getting good food, are you digesting it properly? So some of that might be that you don't have the digestive enzymes, but a lot of it is usually because you're not chewing your food. So are you getting good food? Are you chewing that food until it's juice before you swallow it? And what kind of foods are you eating? So if you're eating raw food and your digestive system is already off, your body can't really break that down and get the nourishment out of it. So that's another reason to chew your food until it's juice and then swallow it. Okay. Another thing that can cause that exhaustion, so you're pushing and you're pushing, nothing's coming out, and then you're super tired after you get done trying to go to the bathroom. That is usually what we call a yang deficiency, and the types of things that can help that are things like the warm drinks, activity and movement, anything that, if you're talking about yin and yin is sleeping and dark and cold, yang is the opposite. So anything you do activity-wise, warmth-wise, thinking, anything that's stimulating should help with that. And if you have cramps after you go to the bathroom, after you poop, you have cramping in your abdomen, that could also be cold, that we just talked about, or cold also can be painful, or cramping afterward. And the way to help with that is the warm drinks and warming stuff. Or it could be chi stagnation, which is similar to that, what we talked about earlier, that liver chi stagnation. So it just means the energy is stuck in there. So if you can get yourself moving, resolve anger, and oh, I forgot about going over the emotional part of the yin and qi deficiency, or the yang and qi deficiency. So if you're having the great effort with exhaustion after, maybe you're being over compassionate. Maybe you're doing too much for other people. take that into mind. And also, if you're not getting the nourishment you need, if you're getting the good food and you're chewing it before it's juice and you're getting those nutrients from the food and you're still deficient, then it could be that you're not nourished in your life. Maybe you hate your job, or maybe your marriage is not good, or maybe something's going on with one of your kids and you're just not feeling like you're being nourished in life. That could be the case too. Okay, and then if we go back to the cramping, I'm sorry about that little aside. If we go back to the cramping and the cold and the qi stagnation, that stagnated qi, if you get to moving, if you move, that helps. Some abdominal massage will help it move. And then again, all the like unresolved anger, irritability, courage, decision making, that's all beneficial as well. Usually green poop in children means that there's cold in their body. So the warming drinks and things will help with that too. If the poop is dark colored, that's more of a heat. And if the poop is pale, I didn't make a pale poop, but I wish I would have. If the poop is pale, that usually means you have dampness. Most of us have dampness. This is a damp poop. Americans have a lot of dampness. I have a lot of dampness. It's just the foods we eat and the way we live life. So if it's pale, if the poop is pale, that also means you have some dampness. And the way you get rid of dampness is by really eliminating dairy is major. Not overdoing for other people, taking care of yourself, eating warming foods, easy to digest foods. There are tons of Chinese herbal formulas that you can take for these things. So if you want to take a formula, if you're really interested in this and you really are having issues with poop, let me know. We can set you up an online consult and get you some herbal formulas for the poop. Today, I'm just going over the stuff that you can do for yourself. Okay? So, if you have heat, let's say you aren't sure, your poop stinks, so you think you have some heat issues in your body. If that's the case, you can have dry stool, you can have red urine, a red face, a fever, you can have anxiety, insomnia, anything that like rushes up to your head. Because if you think of fire or heat, it rises. So anything that, if you have issues that make your face red or hot or your blood pressure rise, then you probably have heat issues. And the things you need to do are to stay away from spicy foods. Spicy foods, they're the worst for heat. Also, anger affects heat, irritability affects heat. Not getting movement will affect that. There are, again, lots of herbal formulas that can help release heat. Don't sit in hot tubs or saunas. Sugar produces heat, caffeine produces heat, and alcohol produces heat. So eliminate all that stuff until you feel better. I always tell everybody, it's not forever that you have to eliminate these things. It's just for now until you feel better. You can tell I have heat because see how red my nose is? I have heat in my system. And it's really hard for me to get it out because I love sugar and I drink caffeine and I occasionally drink alcohol and I eat spicy food. So if I'm not willing to change those things, even if I'm taking an herbal formula, which I am, for heat, then it's never gonna totally resolve. So that's something to think about. Like, you do have the power to change these things, but it takes long-term effort to keep your body in balance. Most of us are out of balance. All of us are out of balance to some degree in some way, but most of us are really out of balance, and we need to start paying attention to what we do with our lives, and not just our food, but our drinks and our emotions and everything else. So anyway, I'll get off of that. So when you have heat, you'll usually have a red tongue or a dry mouth, and often it's